President of Mexico, Vicente Fox. Welcome to اليوم شو على الحرة TV.
Thank you. A pleasure. And hello to everybody.
Thank you. Mr. President, a lot of challenges facing Mexico right now. Insecurity and drug cartels. It's basically overshadowed all the good that we can hear about Mexico. So in your perspective, why there's no president till today was able to solve this problem?
I have taken my decision and I'm assuming my responsibility in promoting legalization of drugs. All drugs, everywhere. Because the war on drugs convoked by President Nixon 40 years ago has been a total failure. The war on crime and drugs convoked by Presidente Calderón in Mexico has been a total failure. So we need to find new ways out and how we can get out of this trap where we're in. As you know, we're in Mexico in between the huge mammoth U.S. consumer market of drugs and the producers on the south, the Venezuelas, the Colombias, the Ecuadors, the Bolivias. So we must, in Mexico, get out of this trap. And to me, the way to go is legalizing. And I already started a campaign, and in our foundation, we're running a symposium, international symposium, on legalization of drugs to get rid of the violence, the bloody days that we're going through in Mexico.
What would be the outcome if we legalize drugs?
That instead of requesting governments to protect our kids and citizens from the opportunity to have access to drugs, let's make the citizen and our kids responsible for the health of the body. If this is an ethical principle, and it has to do with this freedom of choice that we all have. States and governments will never have the capacity to eradicate drugs from the face of the earth. But we, human beings, we individuals can say no to drugs and keep our body healthy, keep our mind brilliant, and do our good work that we're called for in this life.
So are you with legalizing marijuana with medical purposes, for example?
No, with recreational, totally open, and not only marijuana, not only cannabis. I'm for all drugs to be released, to move from prohibition and criminalization of drugs to responsible decisions done by each citizen, and moving from a dark, bad situation that we have that has created so much death in our nation to an industry that pays taxes, that is legal, and that hires people to work legally. And let the consumer take his own decision. We did that with abortion. We did that with marriages among persons of the same sex. We did that with alcohol 100 years ago. It was forbidden. And then when it was legalized, the solution came. At the very end, what we will be doing is separating the health issue and attend the health issues with public policies, separated from violence, crime issues, and then you can win the battle.
So basically, if this move will take place, it will also have an impact on the economy as well?
Yes, a positive impact on the economy, because right now it's no taxes. The criminals are taking the whole pie, and government and economy is not participating on this. Again, many more people die from smoking cigarettes than smoking marijuana. Many, many more people die from overdoses of alcohol than it would happen with drugs. So it's not a real problem of health that cannot be corrected when you legalize.
But if this move will take place only in Mexico, all the states have to follow the same model in addition to the United States, correct?
It already took place in the state of Washington, here in the United States, in the state of Colorado, and in 18 states that have gone also for approving medical use of marijuana. But Colorado and Washington already approved the use for recreational use, which means totally open. And it's working. It's already there. What we need to see from the rest of the world is what's going on. and evaluate what is good and what is bad. Up to now, it's an excellent decision. Same as Portugal did 10 years ago, approving the use of all drugs, and the end result is 25% decrease in drug consumption in 10 years.
For the first time, there are strong bipartisan groups in the Senate here in the U.S. Trying to put together a comprehensive immigration reform, which is going to give a pathway to citizenship for 11 million undocumented immigrants. And
Yes.
you know, the percentage says that most of them are from Latin America and most likely from Mexico as well.
Yes.
So what do you think about this bill that's being debated right now in the Senate as we speak?
That it has to go through. The number one beneficiary of this measure is the same United States as a nation, the same U.S. economy. And I explained myself. They are here, there's 11 million, they are working, but they're in the shadows. So they don't get full respect to their human rights. They are contributing enormously to the economy here in the United States. So the winner, number one, is United States. Of course, Latin America, but more so the economy of this nation. Finally, it will become competitive because anyway, this nation is losing the jobs to Asia, to China, to India. And the only way to work that out is by uniting our capacities, our resources. If we have a NAFTA trade agreement between United States, Mexico, and Canada, we should have a migration solution because it will be to the better of the three of our economies.
Can you tell us more about your foundation, your latest projects and interests?
Okay, we're very active in promoting leadership for all of Latin America. We are convinced that it's leaders, it's names, it's faces, which change the world, who are shaping the world that we're going to be living in the next 10 years or the next 100 years. Not institutions, not trends. It's leaders with ethics and with capacity of change. So this is what we do at Central Fox. We know that every single human being, we're leaders. We have a leadership resource within ourselves. And we have to go within ourselves, learn who am I, learn what am I in this life for. And once I do that, I start discovering all the resources that I have, all the leadership that I have. And if we find this out, then we can do even the impossible.
Mr. President, you are here in Washington of the launch of the Latin American Institute that deals with strengthening democracy in Latin America and in other regions as well. I mean, based on the political landscape in Latin America, what do you think about the key elements to keep democracy strengthening in Latin America?
Well, as you know, we're lagging a little bit behind. And the only way to overcome this, I would put it this way, there is only one way you can change a nation or a region in one generation, and it is certainly education. So my answer to the problems and the opportunities in Latin America is building human capital and promoting leadership to guide our path to the future.
Mr. President, in your country, you were the first president that comes from an opposition party to lead Mexico after 70 years in one party exercising power in Mexico. So basically, what do you think are the fundamental elements in transformation, multi-party?
To build the human capital and to promote the leadership, you need the foundations. And the foundations upon you can build a nation is, number one, democracy, so that every single citizen feels part of the nation and is part of building a successful nation. And the second value is freedom. We were created free, we all human beings, and exercising freedom with responsibility takes you to innovation, to creativity, to commitment, to compassion, to passion for doing things with quality and excellence. All these attributes is what we in this organization are trying to move forward and spread it out all throughout Latin America.
Well, thank you so much, Mr. President. It was a big pleasure. Thank you so
Thank you,
much.
sir.
Thank you.